Hey everybody, my name is Anthony, and in this episode of Track Guide from an Average Player, we're going to be doing Shanghai or China. Now, I spent the last couple of weeks with family, so I've not really had the chance to record lots and lots of gameplay for this episode, and this track is not a track that I'm 100% confident in, so you're not going to see the best lap times I probably could do around this track, but you're going to see at least decent lap times. These are lap times that managed to get me in the top 10% on time trial, so you know, at least it's something. So coming straight into it, this last corner really, I tend to brake at the fence and not off the shadow of the fence. I see a lot of people braking at the shadow and not the actual fence itself, but me personally, I feel comfortable doing that. Open DRS as soon as possible, and coming up to this first corner, a lot of people brake at the 50 meter board. I tend to brake slightly later than that and then put the most amount of brake pressure on basically at the middle of the track coming into the corner there. And this was obviously a long sweeping right, and then coming into the second corner, as you can see, I placed my car here. Ideally, you want to place your car a little bit more in the middle of the track so you can attack that second corner a lot better than I did here. As you'll see, I did gain some time, went into the green, but then pretty much went straight back into the red because of the angle that I was at. But I did get a pretty decent exit and made up a few times there. Coming into this corner, you want to brake at the 100 meter board, 7th gear, 2 second gear at the apex, and just try to get the best exit you can. This corner, you can do it flat out, it's just I didn't really get the angle properly, so I did have to lift off a little bit. But this corner here, coming into this corner here, I brake at the grey patch. I've seen people brake a little bit later than that, so you can if you dare. It's just that's where I've felt most comfortable braking, to be honest. And then you just want to try and get the best exit out of those two corners as you can. This is similar to the other corner where you brake at the 100 meter board in 7th, and then you want to short shift from 2nd to 3rd to 4th coming out of this so that you can get the best exit going along this. I think it's a 1 kilometer straight, so it's a very long straight. You open DRS as soon as you can, which ideally should be on the line, and then coming into this heavy braking zone, I like to brake pretty much at this Rolex sign, but you can brake at the 100 meter board if you dare to be honest. I just like to brake slightly earlier so that I can, you know, just rotate the car slightly earlier and then get on to the power slightly earlier as well. And as I said, I tend to brake at the fence, but you can brake at the shadow if you want to. And this lap was a 30.8. You know, I probably could have done a mid to low 30 if I had really tried, but yeah. Now coming into qualifying, this is against 105% AI. So this is what a pole time against 105% AI looks like, really, to be honest. I did do a couple. This was my 3rd attempt at this, I think. So yeah, I couldn't do it first try, but this was the best that I managed to get in the short time that I had. And for qualifying, I've been trying a few different things recently, to be honest, mainly with ERS, obviously. I've seen a lot of people, they use the ERS similar to how they would in a race. I've also seen other people who literally just keep it on hot lap, and then I've seen other people, like myself for example, who I tend to go between hot lap and overtake. I'm not really sure which ERS method is the best, to be honest. It probably is just personal preference. I would personally say that it might be a good shout to just use the ERS as little as you can during a qualifying lap, just so that you can actually focus on the driving and not necessarily worrying about what ERS mode you're in. So what I tend to do is I tend to leave the fuel mix on max, and then I also just use hot lap and overtake. If you do that, you might end up running out of ERS towards the end of the lap, so you do want to be careful in that regards. But yeah, I think this pole time ended up being a 31.1. I can't remember, to be honest, and my Sony Vegas screen is pretty bad, so I wouldn't even be able to see it even if I showed it. But this is the fastest lap that I got in the race. After this, again, it's against 105% AI, and this lap was I think this was a half a attempt, slower than what ended up being the fastest time, which was from Valtteri Bottas. And one thing I wanted to mention in regards to the ERS mode is you'll see in this that I'm using quite high modes in this lap, and that's just because this is just a 5 lap race. this is what I tend to use in a 5-lap race. I would lower it down slightly as well. Sometimes I'll use high and medium in a 5-lap race, but if you're in a 25% race or more, so for example for my league races, which are 50% races, usually what I would do is I would use the lower fuel mode, the lower ERS modes for most of the race, and so that's 0 to 3, so that's none, low, medium and high. That's the ERS modes that I would use going into a race, especially if it's longer than 25%. And then I would also use hot lap coming out of a corner, as well as I think I was in hot lap just now there. And then the only time that you'll see me use overtake really in terms of a race is when I'm defending, as I am right now, coincidentally. So when I'm defending against another car, or when I plan on overtaking another car, that's usually when I would use overtake. So yeah, this is going to be a short episode because I don't have any online clips. So if you liked the episode, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.